Hey everyone, my name's Jason Lucas and this is my 2021 Norco Sight. One of the questions I get asked the most is what type of bike I ride, so with a new bike in hand, I thought what better time for a bike check than right now. I chose the Sight because I wanted a bike that can handle the rough, steep trails here on the shore, but also get my out-of-shape self to the top of any climb. And with 160 millimeters of travel up front and 150 millimeters in the rear, I think the Sight fits that bill really well. I've also always had a soft spot for Norco ever since my Grom days, riding bikes like the Sasquatch, the 4Hun, the 4Cross, Empire 5. Now that I think about it, I kind of grew up riding these bikes. The Sight also fits a full-size water bottle, which is pretty much a requirement for any bike I'm on. The Sight I'm on here is the 29-inch version, and at 6'1", I chose the XL, which is actually over 60 millimeters longer than my last bike. That, coupled with jumping from 27 5-inch wheels to 29-inch wheels, has made for a pretty aggressive transition period. However, after blowing through some corners and going way too fast into some rough sections of trail, I think I figured it out pretty well. For the rock and root litter trails here on the shore, 29-inch wheels make a lot of sense, and jumping and manualing honestly seems just as easy. For you Luddites out there like me, who is a little bit hesitant to jump to 29-inch wheels, I would highly recommend at least giving a modern-day 29er a try. Spec, I went through Norco's handy-dandy Build Your Ride program, which actually allows you to choose your frame, suspension, and components. So if you want something different from their stock builds, you can do that. You can go aluminum frame, Shimano components, Fox suspension, or all black everything like I've done here. For suspension, I went with RockShox front and rear as I'm super familiar with the product and setup is easy. Actually, it was even easier than normal this time thanks to a handy tool Norco has called Ride Aligned. I just went online, put in some numbers, didn't lie about my weight, and it spat out my recommended settings. From there, I made a couple of tweaks and everything feels really good. In the fork, I settled on 95 PSI, 5 clicks of rebound, 16 clicks of low speed compression, and 4 clicks of high speed compression, all from closed of course. I also went with the recommended 2 volume spacers. In the rear shock, I added 225 PSI with 7 clicks of rebound, and I actually added a 3rd volume spacer, 1 up from the recommended 2. For components, let's start at the cockpit. I've got an E13 bar cut down to 780 millimeters with 20 millimeters of rise. That is bolted to a 40 millimeter stem, all the millimeters. I'm also running the DMR Death Grips, which actually came on the bike, which is a great choice considering grips are usually a Spec afterthought. Moving on down the bike, I'm running a Physique Saddle, and that is sitting on top of a 210 millimeter dropper post from 1UP. Really nice for getting the seat out of the way on those steeper trails. The drivetrain is a SRAM XO1 Affair with a 52 tooth big ring, which once again is really appreciated by my out of shape self. That is mated to a GX crank in 170 millimeter length with a 32 tooth front ring. Everything's kept on there with a E13 chain guide. I'm also running the Chromag contact pedals, which I've running for years now, and other than replacing broken pins, they haven't given me any trouble. SRAM code RSCs have the unfortunate job of slowing me down, and that is with a 200 millimeter rotor in the front and a 100 millimeter rotor in the back. Those are bolted to DT Swiss's XM 1700 rims and their 350 hubs. For tires, I'm running the Askai up front and the Dissector in the rear. That is with EXO Plus compounds, and about 25 PSI in the front, 26 in the rear. No tire inserts or anything like that. The Dissector has been a really good fast rolling tire, but as things get wetter and more slippery, I think I'll be switching it out for something with a bit more bite. And that is my 2021 Norco Sight. I am extremely excited to be creating content for you guys aboard this rig this year, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an upload. We also created this little series called Pinkbike Academy. It comes out every Thursday. Make sure you don't miss an episode. We put a ton of work into it and changed one rider's life, so I think that's pretty sweet. If you have any questions about my build, leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. But for now, sun's shining, less talking, more riding. Hey everyone, I'm Jason Lucas, and this is my backing up excavator right over there. Come on, backing up guy. Just finished backing up. We got to stop filming in active construction sites. That's the key.